Does your lifestyle get old? Hello and welcome to a new Follow the Boat series in which Liz and I take it in turns to answer your questions. These questions can be about anything to do with Follow the Boat, really. It could be about the boat itself, travel, people, what it's like to be on a boat. It could be technical questions. So use the comment section below to post your questions. And also we want to open this up as a discussion as well. We don't want this to just be one way. So let us know what you think about the question we're going to ask in a moment. Keep watching because at the end we've got a couple of announcements to make which I think you might be interested in. So on to the question. This was asked by Keith Rudge when we did a Facebook live broadcast last week. And Keith simply asks, does your lifestyle get old? Well, I think one of the terms that we often hear when we live on the boat is that we are living the dream. It's an expression that's used all the time, both from landlubbers and also from other yachties as well. But do we get to that point where we've lived the dream and then after that, what happens next? Maybe we get to the point where it just becomes a bit samey and a bit boring. Can you have too much of it? I guess the first thing I should say to answer that question is that this isn't just a fanciful whim. We've been living on the boat now for over a decade, and I've been living on the boat for almost 1/4 of my very young life. So this is less of a thing that we just thought, that looks nice, and much more of an actual lifestyle. This is something that we live every day. In some respects, there's not much difference between your lifestyle and our lifestyle. You may live on land and we may live on the water, but we still have to clean our teeth, do the washing, feed the cat, go to the shops. So in that respect, it's very similar. So I could just turn the question around and say, well, do you living on land also find that your lifestyle has got old? Of course, you get to see 15 minutes of our glamorous lifestyle every week, but what you don't get to see are the day-to-day things that we do. So one could argue that it does get a bit samey. We weigh anchor, we go down the coast, we drop the hook in another anchorage, we go ashore, we go to the same supermarkets, we eat the same food. Sailing, I mean, if you're sailing every day, it's pretty much the same, isn't it? It's a sea, there's not much to see at all, and you just cruise along. Well, I think the most important thing about not allowing this lifestyle to grow old or to get boring is stimulus. Always have things that are stimulating. And of course, on a boat, from the moment you wake up, things are stimulating you. It could be that you wake up in a new anchorage and the first thing that comes to mind is, are we dragging? So you jump up and check to see that the anchor isn't dragging. Or perhaps that boat that turned up at the anchorage last night in the dark, maybe he's anchored on top of you or dragged across the anchorage. But more seriously, there are so many things on the boat that keep us stimulated. Let's just take some basics. I mean, there's the navigation. You have to learn the navigation and how to navigate the boat. Of course, there's the sailing as well. Then, of course, there's the boat maintenance. There are things on the boat that you have to learn, and that could be, for example, diesel engine maintenance. Now this might be something that before you moved onto the boat you had no experience with, so you have to learn these things along the way. And what's important to understand, you never stop learning. With the engine, for example, different problems occur at different times, and each engine is slightly different, so they have their own nuances, and it takes time to learn all those things about the engine. Other stimulus happens when we're not on the boat, when we go to land. You know, we are meeting new people, going to new places, learning a new language, taking photographs. And of course, in our case, we're documenting stuff as well, which leads me on to another thing. And that is to have some kind of outside interest, outside of the sailing and the boat maintenance, to have that stimulus, to keep the grey matter ticking over and to learn new things. There's not a day that doesn't go past when I'm not on YouTube looking at a YouTube tutorial on how to use a new piece of software, for example. Liz, meanwhile, started travel writing, and she got to the point where she was getting paid for her writing, and she even ran an online travel writing group. These are just some of the interests that we have that keep us stimulated, and I think this is absolutely key to maintaining your interest in your own lifestyle. And this is really the reason why our weekly vlog, Follow the Boat, isn't just about sailing. If it was, I think it would be a little bit boring. So we like to document everything else that goes on in our lives. So what is it like to be on a boat? This is what we show you. Each week we are showing you different things, and these are all stimulating. These are all things to keep that interest in your life. And I have to say, I don't think it makes any difference whether you're on a boat or whether you're on land. There's the old adage, of course, that only boring people get bored. If you find that you are growing old in your lifestyle, then it's only down to you and to find some kind of stimulus to keep you entertained and invigorated with life. Well, I hope that sort of answers your question, but what we want to know is what you think. Do you lead a stimulating life, or do you find that your lifestyle is rather boring? Can you see the similarities between our lifestyle and your lifestyle? Of course, there are very clear differences, but we do share a lot in common, and I believe that you need to have interests to keep yourself going, to keep yourself positive, so that you wake up every morning that you have a purpose in life. Being on the boat just presents different ways of maintaining that enthusiasm. So I thought this first 5-minute question session would be a nice, simple, open one like that, which will appeal to everyone. But we want to know your questions and we want to know your feedback. What do you think? Now, I mentioned earlier that there were a couple of announcements. As you may be aware, we are now starting to experiment with live streaming, and this is something we're hoping to do across our social media. So from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube, we're going to be mixing it up a bit. We're going to be doing some sit-down studio type broadcasts in which we answer your questions, and then the other live broadcasts will be from the deck of the boat itself. So maybe when we go sailing, or if we go ashore and we explore somewhere. But really important, sign up for our mailing list, because our mailing list is the way that we're going to be communicating with people to tell you when we go live and do these live streams. And on top of that, we have a couple of things in the pipeline, and everyone on our mailing list is going to be the first to find out about this. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, and when you do, hit that alarm bell button, because that will make sure that you get notified when we put out our vlogs, but also when we do a live stream. There is no other way of notifying you when we do the live stream, so subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Look forward to reading your comments and your questions, and we'll catch you next time.